meaning that they extend their lead at the top of the table. For Nigeria, they have very much it all to do at the moment as we welcome in. Oh, main man, Colin Udoh joins us. Colin, I feel like the only time we have you on the show is when Nigeria are doing badly. What's going on?
I guess I'm going to have to blame you for that, because if you got me on more often, then Nigeria will probably do much better.
Yeah, indeed. What's happening? Why are they struggling so much? When you look at this team, it's still stacked, isn't it?
It is. Unfortunately, it's hard to point to one thing as why. We've had frequent coaching changes, players missing. But look, considering how good some of the players in the Nigeria team are, you can't really say one or two players missing should be an excuse for them not to get the result that they need to get, because, hey, and I'm sure we're going to get to that a bit later, but you look at Cape Verde, they don't have the quality of players Nigeria have, but they are, one win away from qualifying for the World Cup. So with Nigeria, when you look at the amount of coaching changes, I think this team has gone through 4 coaching changes during this World Cup qualifier. Jose Pesero, Finidi George, Austin Eguavon, and now we had Eric Sekoshel. So 4 coaches in the space of, 8 games? You're not going to get anything good out of that. And then you've got to also look at the fact that, a team like Nigeria in a group like with Lesotho, Rwanda, Zimbabwe have got to be winning games. But you've had 3, out of 8 games, they've only won 1. Sorry, they've only won 2 games, both games against Rwanda. They've lost against Benin Republic away, and away was on neutral ground in Ivory Coast, not even in Benin Republic. They drew at home to Lesotho, drew at home to South Africa, drew at home to Zimbabwe, and then drew away to Zimbabwe, not even in Zimbabwe again. That game was also played in Kigali, Rwanda. So in a qualifying like this, if you can't win your home games and you can't get points on the road, at least good point on the road, then you're bound to where Nigeria is. And it's a shame, because I've got to say it's disgraceful. I'm somebody who has, I've been covering this team, supporting this team from, some 2-3 decades. And I've never seen a team with less spirit, with less heart than the current iteration of players. And I think that, at this point, some soul searching needs to be done among the Nigeria players.
What do you think, Colin? When it comes to the US next summer, are Nigeria going to be there? Are they going to get qualification?
Mathematically, they could, but in reality, I'll say no. Nigeria is not coming to the US next year.
Oh, wow. Let's take a... What a story this is then. Cape Verde almost through to their first World Cup. This is just a group of islands, 500,000 people in population. It's quite the story, Colin.
And the good thing is, even though, from 2013, when they qualified for their first AFCON, Cape Verde have been doing really, really good in African qualifying. In fact, they seem to have become Cameroon's bogey team, because in qualifying for that first AFCON, they beat Cameroon 2-0 at home and then lost 2-1. So they eliminated Cameroon on their way to qualifying for their first AFCON. And then they got to the AFCON, they beat Ghana, they beat Morocco. They've been been to the quarterfinals twice. And then, now they've shown that, in qualifying, they can do really good. And I think it'll be a very, very proud moment for them. They are 1 win away from going to the World Cup, and their last game in the qualifier is at home to the bottom team in the group, Eswatini, which they're expected to win. So you can imagine winning that game at home and qualifying in front of their fans for the World Cup is going to be a huge moment for Cape Verde. And I'm really proud of them, and the fact they've done that with players who were mostly born in Cape Verde, and a coach who not only was born in Cape Verde but played in Cape Verde and now coaches them, I think it's a credit to the team and the federation of the country.
Before we let you go, Colin, let's just take you through what else happened. And you can see how crucial that win is, considering how things look at the top of the table. They are 2 points now clear. Colin, what a comeback from Senegal.
That was an amazing comeback. And the DRC, look, they were this close. And it always seems to happen to them when they are this close to qualifying for the World Cup. They just find a way to muck things up. And look, fans were in that stadium hours before kickoff. They had a full house. They had no excuse not to put, again, we're leading 2-0, and they could have been, 1 game away from qualifying for the World Cup. And somehow they just decided to crumble, allow Senegal to get back in it, and they lost the game. And the fans weren't happy. The scenes after the game were, somewhat not flattering. But again, DRC have no one to blame but themselves.
Meanwhile, Egypt had the possibility, didn't they, to qualify today, Colin, yet they're going to have to wait another round. They sit 5 clear of Burkina Faso, but they couldn't get it done because it was just a goalless draw in the end in this top-of-the-table clash.
Exactly. And I mean, Burkina Faso again have shown that, these days we talk about there being no minnows in Africa. There still are minnows, but some of these minnows are growing up. They are putting the big teams through their paces. And Burkina Faso, they're one of them. They've appeared in AFCON finals. And so they really got Egypt, put Egypt through the ringer. And then so we've got to wait for the last two games of these qualifiers to see if they make it. But I know Egypt, again, one win away from making it to the World Cup, but Burkina Faso pushing them all the way.